And good evening, Sword family. Sorry about the late start. I literally just got back home. I'm spending the day over with Foxy and my parents and kind of didn't have enough time to finish dinner, which, I don't have to run at the end of the show to go eat. I can just hang out here until I'm done. But having dinner, and as soon as I was finished, rushed home, and took me a few minutes to actually get everything logged in and stuff. But we're here now. Oh, might have eaten my dinner a little bit fast, but we're okay. We're all right. Didn't actually have time to brew any tea, so. And if you can hear the fan blowing, I apologize, but we have no air conditioning in our apartment. So I currently have a small box fan sitting in the window with the window open. Yes, there's my lovely co-star. Hi, buddy. Yes. And it is currently raining outside. So if we lose connection, that's probably why. But yes, it is warm. Actually, right now it's not terrible. It's been kind of cloudy and overcast most of the day, so it's not terribly warm. But we have not had air conditioning since sometime between Wednesday evening and Thursday morning. So it's been fairly miserable. But thanks to our wonderful sister, Sarah Sera, today we're going to be talking about the I Ching. And I Ching divination methods. Which means I'm going to have to get my coins out. Which is not too big of a deal because they live in the book. So I don't lose them. They're always right here. So, let us catch up on our comments. And then we will get started. And first through the door at 5 p.m. is Trey. Evening all, evening Trey. It was really a lot of fun watching you make your potion bottles earlier. And as far as your commission journal goes, I think I have plenty of paper. So yeah. Let me know the colors that you want. If you just want one color for front and back cover. If you want two colors, let me know. Do you want black or red binding? And if you want anything on the cover of the journal, let me know that too. And I will get that started sometime this week. And Carl is joining us. Big thunder crack here just now. We may disappear. Oh, yeah. Be safe, guys. I think the rain stopped. It just stopped. Hey, Carl, storm here just finished. It was wild for a little bit. Yeah, there were some thunder cracks during the end there. Sounded like it hit a tree near our garage. Oof. Unplugged a bunch of stuff. Good idea. On my phone while it lasts, probably a good idea. Nothing motivates you to crochet faster than a thunderstorm during your live stream. And losing both cameras for absolutely no reason, apparently. And Carl laughing. And Donna is joining us. Greeting, Trey. Hey, Donna. And Dawn is joining us. Evening, no rain here today, but the sky has had an eerie feel all day. Well, might get some later then. I'm enjoying the overcast and cloudy because, yeah, no air conditioning. Give me clouds. Give me clouds and highs in the high 70s instead of the low 90s, and I will be mostly okay. And Trey greeting Donna and Dawn. And Donna greeting Dawn. Raining buckets here, and Thor's having fun. Sounds like it. Flash flood warning. Oof. Pouring rain. I hope, long as my new washer's okay. Yeah, don't flood that again. Maybe should have gotten that new sub pump. Yeah, my parents had to get one years ago because they were always like constantly flooding their basement. So they finally went and got a pump, and it's been nice. We haven't had to bail buckets of water out of the downstairs basement stairwell in a couple of years. And there is my lovely Foxy, probably just finished her dinner about almost 20 minutes ago. Hey, Foxy. We will put my like on early just in case. Nice. Don't see how to do that on the phone. Yeah, you have to close the chat window. You can bring it right back up, though. I've had to do it. I did it earlier today during trade stream. Greetings for Fox. Yeah. See? Close chat window. Maybe a couple minutes late. Yeah, I was. Got the like done. Good. Welcome. Had to figure it out, too. I figured it out a while ago, but I'm on my phone YouTube a lot more often than she is. And there's Kitty. Hey, all. Hello, kitten. And greetings for Kitty. And greetings for Kitty. Greetings for Kitty. Lit a little bonfire in case we lose power at the tip of my cigar. Yeah. And Midnight is over on Twitch. Hey, sword people. Hello, Midnight. The Rip. Oh, he did say Rip. Wow. Just the Rip. And greetings for me. Hello. There's my puppy. He's back laying on the bed again now. Can't hear the rain? Well, you probably can't now because it's done. Holds head in hands. Not raining over there. I'm not surprised. Might be headed your way now. Can't hear the fan. Good. That means my noise gate is good. Hope you get AC soon. Yeah, so am I. Well, now I know that the Twitch comments are coming through, but could it be not a bot this time? That'd be nice. Guess it is sprinkling. It wasn't sprinkling when I looked. It was coming down pretty good, but only for a couple of minutes. So, jingle, jingle. Yep, and my coins. Who wants their fortune told? The only problem with doing it that way is if I was going to do it for a person here, I would rather have them here in StreamYard with me because, well, I'll get into it in a second. Hit you up for commission after stream. Nice. Also, I guess run your updates before live streaming. That's what updates. Okay. And there's Sarah. Oh man, I'd love a good storm. Unfortunately, it didn't last long enough. I mean, I could hear it coming down pretty good, but now it's just moist outside. Me too, yeah. Wouldn't want it if I was running a podcast. I get that. Otherwise, yeah. And greeting for Sarah. And Sarah greeting Trey. Have my USB charged flashlight. Good. Sarah has the derps. Uh-oh, here we go. Yeah, it's all right. No worries. And Trey greeting Midnight, and Donna greeting Sarah, and Dawn over on Kick. Okay, so actually I should probably do that too before I get started, because I will need a visual, and I can do it over here in Paint, kind of. So let's do that. Okay. Who with ops wants their fortune? We're going to do something. Don't worry about it. I have a plan, so don't worry about it. So the I Ching is one of many different divination methods from, we'll say, ancient China. Let's see. The original manual is from the Zhou dynasty from 1000 to 750 BCE. And over the course of Warring States period, from 500 to 200 BC, it kind of turned into more of a philosophical commentary. And in the, I want to say 2nd century BCE, it became part of the 5 classics that were books that were usually taught or learned if you wanted to become a scholar or an official. You know, when we talked about last time, when we talked about Wu Zetian and how she changed the system on how to become an official to a more merit-based system instead of just a system of whoever knew the best people, they started teaching the 5 classics. And the 5 classics are poetry, book of documents, book of rites, the spring and autumn annals, and the I Ching. And there are a few different methods you can use to get your hexagram. Now, I swear somewhere in this book they had a hexagram that you could actually look at that wasn't really tiny, but apparently not. So we're just going to have to do this. So those broken lines right there, that is a hexagram. And the most popular method, at least over here in the West, is by throwing coins. But you can also do it with bamboo stalks and tortoise shells and animal bones and doing it with the stalks or the bones or the tortoise shells. You're doing it by adding up the totals. So let me see if I can find the proper. Doing it with doing it with bamboo stalks, you're doing it by adding up the stalks that you threw and then dividing them by 4 or 8. So unfortunately, it's a lot more complicated than it is with the coins. So we're going to do the coins. But here in the book, it tells you a simplified version of the bamboo stock oracle. So just for fun, hold 50 bamboo sticks in your left hand. Place one aside on the table in front of you, parallel to your body. Randomly divide the remaining 49 sticks into 2 groups, one in your left hand and one in your right hand. Place these 2 groups on the table, one at your left side and the other at your right, with the ends of the sticks pointing in front of you. Take one stick out from the right pile on the table, put it between the ring finger and little finger of your left hand. Pick up the right pile in your left hand. Using your right hand, take 4 sticks out of your left hand and put them on the table. Using your right hand, take another 4 sticks out of your left hand, put them on the table with the first 4 mixed together as a unit of 8. Repeat steps 6 and 7 several times, taking 4 sticks plus 4 sticks each time to create a group of 8. Set each group aside. At last, there will be 7 or fewer sticks remaining in your left hand. Add the sticks remaining in your left hand to the one between your ring finger and little finger. The sum of these sticks is the number of your lower gua as listed in figure 1. So right there. So that's half. So all of that to get half of a hexagram. So you can see why we use coins. Because that is much, much easier. Check these comments. Sarah greeting the Dark Misses and Dark Pope and Foxy and me and Midnight. And anyone else? Yes. I Ching is one of the things Madam Starlight uses in Woodstock Dreams. Hashtag always promote. Nice. Looks like everyone gave the show a like. No whip needed. Well, sorry I'm late, Dan. I was late too. So, don't worry about it. You're fine. And greetings for Dan. More greetings for Dan. That's a lot of math. Yeah. Like I said, you can see why we use coins. Coins are a lot easier. Get down, bud. Because for coins, you need 3 coins. Which I have. I have 6. Yes, a lot of math. So, to use coins, you take 3 coins. These are falling out of my hand. These are Chinese style coins. We can get focus. Come on. Focus. Focus. That is heads. Might work better with 1 coin. How about that? So that's heads. And that's tails. To use coins, when you take the coins in your palm, shake the coins, and toss the coins. And if you look, right here, it tells you how you get your lines. If you have two face and one back, that gives you a lesser yang, which is a perfectly straight line right there. If you get two back and one face, you get lesser yin, which is the broken line. If you get all three backs, that is greater yang, that is a changing line. So you get a line with a circle. If you get three faces, it's greater yin, which is another changing, so it's broken with an X. So we just threw one, and we got two backs and a face. So that is a lesser yin. Was it focusing on the dog's butt? Okay. Here they go! Yep. That's the little pup dog. And you go from bottom to top. You don't go from top to bottom. It's going to alter your reading if you go from top to bottom. Unless you get all the same thing, then it doesn't really matter. But you're supposed to go from bottom to top. So, what are the changing lines? If you get changing lines, you're going to essentially get two readings for 2-for-1 readings. Because changing lines, your original reading will be for the present. And the changing lines will give you the future reading. And they usually can coincide, but sometimes they flip completely. Why is it bottom to top? Well, there are a couple different beliefs on why you go from bottom to top. One of them is you're starting at the ground and going to heaven. So if you start at the top, you're starting at heaven and going down to earth. And if you start at the top, you start at heaven, it's offensive to the gods. That's one of the ones that I heard. Also, I've heard that it is the opposite of the way that characters are read, so you don't mistake the two. So when we talked a few weeks ago, might have been a couple of months ago actually, about Chinese characters and the way that they are read from top to bottom and right to left, instead of in the West where we read from left to right and top to bottom. So if you think of it like taking reading like this and just basically turning it on its side. So going from bottom to top with a divination, you're doing it the opposite way that you would normally read. Those are the two versions that I heard. So there you go. So let us, this is my basic Microsoft Paint program. So someone that I know has recently gone through a fairly big upheaval in their life. So I'm going to do the reading for that person. So what you need to do is when you're tossing the coins, a lot like with meditation, empty all thoughts out of your mind except for the question that you need answered. And you're going to throw the coins 6 times. Yes, 6. Remember this? We might talk about this in a week or so. Counting to 10 in Chinese on one hand. So you're going to do it 6 times. We did 1. And we got a lesser yin. 2 backs and 1 face. So let's get our lines up. 1. Yes, I know they're not even. Shut up. And so that's number 1. So now we do it 5 more times. And again, we get 2 backs and 1 face. So already we have 2 lesser yin. Now, the reason that I said if I were going to do this for anyone in the chat, it would be easier for me to do it with them here with me in StreamYard is because the person themselves that you're reading for is supposed to be the one to tell you when to stop shaking the coins. And it's all just instinct. It's gut feeling. When they feel it's time for you to stop, you stop. So trying to do it through the chat would not work at all. That would be absolutely insane. So if we were going to do a reading for someone, it would just be easier to have them here with me while I do it. But now we have 2 face and 1 back. So now we have a lesser yang. 1 straight line. That's half of them. And again, 2 face and 1 back. Lesser yang again. That's 4. And now we have 2 back and 1 face. So lesser yin again. One more. Ah! Now we have three faces, so we have a changing line. We have a greater yin. So greater yin is broken. With X in the middle. And that is your gua, or your hexagram for this person's fortune, we'll say. So that means that they have one changing line, so their future hexagram is going to be exactly the same, except the top is going to be a lesser yang instead. So what I'm going to do, we're going to take this, we're going to copy it, we'll paste it, we'll put it up here, and then we will put their changing line up here so that I can look up both of their hexagrams to read their fortune. Now, this is the part that's kind of annoying, because unless you have this thing memorized, finding the hexagram because get back over on my regular screen here. I don't know if you can see those, but it has all of the hexagrams in the book. But yeah, let's do this for just a second. All down this column. They're tiny. So now I have to look through, and there are 64 hexagrams to look through. Works that way with all divination. I don't know. Foxy has runes, and she has an oracle deck. It's not a tarot deck, it's an oracle deck. I also have an oracle deck. Trey has runes, an oracle deck, and several tarot decks. Depends on whether I want to be smacked upside the head or something gently handed. Yeah. And you will have another tarot deck, according to what you told me earlier, that you bought the Swordswomen of History tarot deck. We're going to have to talk. We're going to have to talk. So let's... no. Okay. So we have broken, broken, straight, straight, broken, broken. This would be a lot easier if I had, a co-host sitting here to look through all these or keep the chat entertained. Oh, please do a small stream when I get the deck. Please. That would be excellent. So it's in the lower canon. Oh, I know you try to keep things running, but I'm saying there's dead air while I try and search for the gua. And if there was someone either looking through the book for me or talking while I look, I thought I had it, but I don't. Everyone fill the chat. Please don't. Ah, there it is. Yes. So, the person... No circus music. Welcome to the dark side. The person whose fortune I'm reading, your present fortune is Xiao Guo, little exceeding. It's on page 477, which is almost in the back of the damn book. It's really almost in the back of the book. Okay, here we go. According to your fortune, when people have sincerity and trustworthiness, surely they will carry it into practice. Thus, after innermost sincerity, little exceeding follows. So, I know you could do worse. Don't. Little exceeding, the name of this gua, is difficult to grasp. The text does not define it clearly. Owing to the variety of meanings of the gua, different scholars hold different views. It is clear that in King Wen's decision, Xiao Guo denotes little exceeding. It is a warning against overdoing it. In the Duke of Zhou's text, it means passing by. In the decision, there are two instances where the word not is used. The Yao text uses no 3 times and not 5 times. Negatives occur in every Yao text except the first. Obviously, this gua is full of warnings. But we have a changing line, so we have a future hexagram to also consider. Now, if I would have been smart, there's the chart I was looking. You know what? Again. There's the chart I was looking for. Your upper trigram is this axis. The lower trigram is this axis. And it will tell you exactly the number of the trigram you're looking for. That would have been faster. I knew there was a chart in here. I just couldn't remember where it was. So, we have, and Texas Dave is joining us. Hello, Dave. We have straight, broken, straight. Okay. That is fire. Yes. Each of these trigrams also has a element associated with it. This trigram here denotes thunder and mountain elements. So this one is fire and straight, broken, and mountain. That is 56. So we have Thunder Mountain and Fire Mountain. 56. Yes. That is traveling. That is page 440. Glad it wasn't 444. Jeez. Traveling. Fire and mountain. If abundance proceeds to the utmost and becomes poor, surely one would lose his home. Thus, after abundance, traveling follows. So that is the future hexagram. And we got a whole bunch of greetings for Dave, because Dave is awesome. And Dave greeting everyone else. So now we have, this gua expounds the principle of stability and unity. When abundance reaches the extreme, an unstable situation arises. Further progress and advance is not as easy and smooth as before. The gua takes the image of traveling to display the truth of change and development in human life. Life is a journey, and we are all travelers. Every event in our daily lives is part of a continuum of change and development. Time and space are a process. Every individual event enhances change and development. So, you have why are you stupid page? Turn there. We have for present, when people have sincerity and trustworthiness, surely they will carry it into practice. Thus, after innermost sincerity, little exceeding follows. And for future, if abundance proceeds to the utmost and becomes poor, surely one would lose his home. Thus, after abundance, traveling follows. So now, what does that mean? Here's what I think it means. It means that the person that caused the upheaval in this other person's life, they are liars, which means that they do not carry sincerity with them into their daily life. Now we can close this because we're done with paint right now. When someone is a liar, they're a liar all the time. But if someone is sincere, then they're always sincere. Yeah, kind of card reading. It is a divination form. It is a fortune telling form. Yes, it was coins. I also have this. This is my Oracle deck, based on Sun Tzu's Art of War. I could also pull a card out of that for this same situation. So that is the present. This person is a liar. And they've probably been lying for their entire life. Now, do they know they're lying? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But they are a liar, and they've been a liar. So the future hexagram, to me, says that eventually this person is going to get to a point where everything that they have is gone. They're going to lose it. They're going to lose all of their prosperity. Possibly due to their own actions. And possibly due to just the fact that eventually you get to a point where you have so much that the only place you can go is down. So when that person gets to the point where they can't have anything more, the only place they can go is down. So there you go. That is my interpretation of the reading that I just did. Now, we still have 12 minutes. And this was supposed to be all about the I Ching, but I do love my Oracle deck. And this one is a bit different than a lot of other Oracle decks I've seen. In that, in this deck, according to, and I got to show this off. That's just a cool-ass dragon right there. That's in the back of the book. According to, and there's a pretty badass-looking phoenix in the front. According to this book, you draw one card. Just one. If you look, right here, in the introduction, tells you how to use the deck. Using the cards. Leaders around the world have long used the art of war to inform their strategies, given its reputation as a classic of intelligent warfare. However, the profound words of its author Sun Tzu have lifted it above a 5th century military text to a guide for a way of being in the world. To facilitate such a use, there are 52 cards included with this book. Hold a question in your mind, shuffle the cards, spread them out in front of you, and pick one at random. Each card contains an inspiring statement from Sun Tzu on the aspect of strategy, accompanied by an explanation on the reverse of how it can be interpreted in a modern-day context. So, we're going to ask the same question. Going with the flow is the way to be. Doesn't have to be strictly I Ching. Yeah. Both are divination, so it's not off topic. This is true. There are lots of ways. Yeah. Tell me about it. So, we're going to hold the same question, just like we did before. Shuffle the cards. That was a terrible show. I almost should have set up the other camera for this, huh? So you guys could have seen the coins as I threw them. I just thought of that. Of course, I would have been even later if I would have had to set up the second camera and set up the table. Okay. Now, spread out the cards. And we choose. And there is our card. Sun Tzu said, while heeding the profit of my counsel, avail yourself also of any helpful circumstances over and beyond the ordinary rules. On the back, learn your lessons. Education begins on the first day of our lives and ends on the last. We learn something new every day, some of it planned, some of it unplanned, some of it useful, and some of it irrelevant. We learn in different ways, by seeing, by showing, by doing. Realizing how you learn is a skill that can be improved by trying different methods. Hilarious when people of certain religions think divination is evil. It happened a lot in the Bible. Yeah, you're not wrong. Next time, yeah, we could do that next time. Not no. Oh, don't worry, Sarah. We get it. So, let us refer to the book. The book is about learning. Again, I know it's freaking dead air, but yeah, I know. A lot of us know, actually. Yeah. See, if they had numbers on the card, it'd be a lot easier to find them. But they don't. I am not finding it in the book. That's really disappointing. I do not see it in the book. That is disappointing. Yeah, we don't need no stinking nut. That would have been a lot easier. But to me, okay, to me, this card basically says that if we don't want to get too flowery on it, trust your gut. Trust your gut. If something does not feel right, it's not right. It's really that simple. And yes, I know you can see my hair flying because I desperately need a haircut. Just for fun, because we had a twofer on the hexagrams. Let's draw another card. Because maybe there's a future reading here as well. Okay, here we go. Oh boy. Sun Tzu said, "The general who advances without coveting fame and retreats without fearing disgrace, whose only thought is to protect his country and do good service for his sovereign, is the jewel of the kingdom." So what does the back say? You can't be friends with everyone. Friends do what they do because they are our friends and we love them. They do it because they know it is the right thing to do. But while some people can be our friends, others cannot. The difference is that friends can be inconvenient, annoying, troublesome, expensive, and taxing, but we will forgive them. That one's pretty damn straightforward now, isn't it? Honestly, and this is kind of difficult for me to admit, but it's the truth. This is only the second time that I have used this Oracle deck. And I got it 1 or 2 years ago at the Ren Fair. I'm not sure if it was last year or the year before. But this is only the second time I've used it. The first time, this might make... Okay, so yeah. This might make everyone here laugh. The first time I used it, I had a really, really bad stream. No one showed up. The chat was empty. There was nobody here. So for basically an hour, I was just yelling into the void by myself. I didn't have my I Ching yet, but I had the Oracle deck. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I thought about giving up. Just stopping streaming entirely, because most of the time there were between 1 and 3 people in the chat. And one of them was always Foxy, and the other 2 were friends of ours from Discord. And that day, just no one showed up. And I just felt hopeless. I felt like there was no point in me doing this anymore. So I pulled out the Oracle deck, and I said, should I give up? Should I stop streaming? So I sat there, I shuffled the deck, I set the whole deck on my desk. I picked a card. And it basically told me, persevere, and you will succeed. It basically told me, don't give up, and it will get better. And it did. So people say that this is all just woo, and it doesn't actually mean anything, and they're so vague that it can apply to anything. No, I'm sorry. No, that is wrong. These things are specific. They are set. Now, can you read into them however you want? Of course you can. But that doesn't mean that the advice they give you isn't worthwhile. Always better to yell with friends. Yes, it is. Yes, you are the void. Oh. So glad you listen to the deck. So am I. So am I. Mine always come true in exactly two. Wow. Did get to the point where I wasn't going to do readings for myself anymore. Here's a little something that I've always found very interesting. And it's probably my most useless talent, but it still surprises me when it happens. Foxy and I don't have cable in our apartment. Literally, our entertainment is YouTube. Used to be Netflix, but Netflix decided that they're going to start putting ads unless you pay for a higher subscription, so we dumped that. So it's YouTube, movies that we have, DVDs, and TV series that I download. So we do not have cable at the house. My parents have a satellite. I will be sitting here, and for no reason whatsoever, a random movie will pop into my head. Completely at random. It will have nothing to do with... If I'm in the middle of a conversation, it will have nothing to do with the conversation. If I'm just sitting here in silence, just movie in my head. Foxy can account for this. She's seen it happen. Just sitting here, movie will pop into my head, and within 2 days, always 48 hours, that movie will be on the satellite at my parents' house. 2 days. It has never been more than 2 days. I don't know why, but I'm like the movie oracle, apparently. That's why I said it's probably my most useless talent, but it's fun when it happens. And I bring it up to people, and they're like, "Oh, you just look ahead in your parents' satellite." Bitch, I don't live with my parents. Sometimes I don't see my parents for 2 days. No cable in my room, no need for it. They have it downstairs, but no point for me to have it. Yeah. Get it 100%. Yep. That's a bit uncanny, yeah. The only reason that I say that she can attest to this is because I'll tell her. Because she's my metric. She's the person who I, like, oh, I just thought of such and such movie. And she'll, like, write it down, or she'll tell me to write it down. Here's the one that really threw me, though. Because, yes, if I wanted to cheat, I could go to my parents' house, look ahead, pick a random movie, and then just claim that I saw that movie. You can relate. Good. I do not do that. I want to stress this. I don't do that. But one time, sitting here, watching YouTube, movie pops in my head. I go tell her. She goes and writes it down. Exactly 2 days later, we are at the hospital. And that movie comes on the TV in the hospital. There was no way in hell that I was going to know what was going to be on in the hospital in exactly 2 days. Because I didn't go there 2 days prior. But it happened. We're sitting there. The movie comes on. I nudge her with my elbow, point at the TV, and her exact reaction, and it's the same reaction every time it happens. She goes, "Son of a bitch." It's like, "You did it again." I'm like, party trick. I don't know, man. I can't force it to happen. So if I force it, it doesn't work. It just happens at random for absolutely no reason. Like recently. Yeah, it's the number 2. I know. Don't know, it just is. Yeah. Recently, like maybe a couple of weeks ago, I asked on Facebook if I said the name Bernie Lomax. Does anyone else know what I'm talking about, or something like that? And that's because earlier that day, while me and Foxy were driving, Weekend at Bernie's 2 popped in my head. Again, 2. Number 2. Weekend at Bernie's 2. And I mentioned the name Bernie Lomax to her. And, you know, I've said this to people before, but I call her Bones. Because she misses a lot of pop culture references that I make. because she didn't have cable growing up. She didn't have MTV. She didn't watch a lot of movies. So a lot of the pop culture references that I've made, she does not get. I know I've mentioned this before, but she didn't know who Johnny Five was. So I mentioned Bernie Lomax. She's like, who the hell is Bernie Lomax? And I'm like, it's a movie, Weekend at Bernie's 2, blah, 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 whatever. Two days later, Weekend at Bernie's comes on. Weekend at Bernie's 2. And yeah, exactly. Just said a couple weeks ago, another 2. Yeah. And she does. She does miss a lot. I don't know why it happens. I don't know how it happens. But one time, it was more than just a movie. It was an actual, I don't want to use the word premonition, because people, like Sarah said, they hear that word and they think stupid things. But this was a while ago. This might have been more than a year ago. But a restaurant in our town burned to the ground. This spot, I swear, it is cursed. And I can talk about why I think that at a later time, because it's some things. But once upon a time, before I was even born, at this location, there was, I guess you could call it a club. And some stuff went down in that club, and they say that if you went into the ruins of said club, there was a mirror opposite the entrance door. Here's the door, here's a mirror. If you walked in and looked at your reflection, you would see death. And you would die shortly thereafter. So this is all hearsay because it was before I was born. But eventually, they tore that place down. Miss a lot of pop culture on purpose. Well, using a different word and all of a sudden it's okay. Yeah, I know. Also decided to stop that day for Inigo. This is true. No mirrors facing north. Absolutely. Absolutely. That was a bad idea. You also shouldn't have your bed facing your door. You shouldn't have windows on opposite sides of your door. There's my front door. There's a window. It's bad feng shui. But they tore the place down. This was what the locals called the lot. It was where we hung out when I was in high school. It was an empty lot. Well, actually, it wasn't. The building was there. The building was still there, but it was boarded up. You couldn't go inside. And eventually, they tore it down. And they put up a Sonic. The Sonic was there for a while. Sonic closed. Then it became a Mexican restaurant. Mexican restaurant was there for a little while. Then it closed. Then it was a Chinese place. Chinese place was there for a little while. Then it burned down. The building burned down. while the Chinese food place was there. The Chinese food place ended up moving closer to my parents, and it is now closed. So everything in that place that tried to build there, I swear that lot was cursed. So after that spot burned down, we were driving, me and Foxy were driving to work one day, and she looked out of the corner of her eye and she goes, "Oh shit," right? And in my mind, I saw Arby's on fire. I don't know why. Just her reaction, I thought something bad, and that something bad leapt to fire. So I jerked my head back like, "Is Arby's on fire?" She's like, "No, why would Arby's be on fire?" I was like, I don't know. And we went about our day. Guess what happened to Arby's shortly after? There was a fire. There was a fire at Arby's shortly after that happened. Yeah. That, call it a premonition, call it whatever you want to call it. But there was absolutely no reason for my brain to leap from her saying, "Oh shit," to Arby's is on fire. But that's where my mind went. Shortly after that, there was a fire at Arby's. Wonder if it was the land that had issues. A lot of people don't. Yep. Miss it. I miss Sonic when it first opened. But then they started making the portion smaller, but kept the price the same. Yeah. Get them sometimes, but rarely that dramatic. And what, pray tell, was she saying, "Oh shit," about? Because there were two people on horseback in Arby's drive-thru. There were people on horseback at the drive-thru. And that's what made her say, "Oh shit." But my brain went, Arby's is on fire. I don't know. All right. What did I say I was going to talk about next week? I was going to write it down. I didn't. What did I say I was going to talk about next week? Hopefully somebody else remembers, because I don't. Right. No, I do remember. That's right. Counting to 10 on one hand. Did you take pictures that day? I thought we were going too fast. Oh shit, it goes along with what the horses were dropping. Yeah, you're not wrong. So, thank you all. I hope that this was at least informative. I will be back on Monday to play some more Nine Dragons. And I will be back next Saturday with counting to 10 in Chinese on one hand. Maybe go around the block. Okay. Been great. Thank you, Sarah. Night, Donna. Night, Carl. Hopefully, we won't get another server shutdown on Monday. And hopefully, we will have someone joining so I can show off the party system. But if not, I can play. Good night from Dan. Night from Dawn. Excuse me. Great show. Thank you. Night, everyone. Doing my best to be more present. Sarah, anytime you show up is awesome. Doesn't matter if we don't see you for a month. Doesn't matter if we see you every week. I just like seeing you in the chat because it means that you're here. That's all I care about. If you can't catch it at work, don't worry about it. It's all good. But I will be back on Monday, and I will be back next Saturday. Special thank you to Rich Asplin Jr., Joe Bachman, and Dan Hollifield for being my wonderful, wonderful patrons. And I will see you all next week. Again.